Hey, yo,
What
ladies and
up?
gentlemen, let me take you back in time real quick. I got a little story that's going to make this week 3 recap and week 4 preview make a little bit more sense. I think the year was 2018. And me being a loyal Saints fan, born and raised in New Orleans, and the Saints being everything I've ever known, all the way back to the days when we were called the Aints and people wore paper bags on their heads. In 2018, the Saints started off 1-3. And to be honest, I jumped off the ship after week 4. I was like, we're done. 1-3. We ain't got it. Get rid of Drew Brees. The season's over. That season ended with the New Orleans Saints in one of the biggest controversies in playoff history when Drew Brees threw a ball to the sideline in a tied game with about 2 minutes left. And his receiver got hit before the ball even got there, and there was no pass interference call. I think we all remember. It was against the Los Angeles Rams.
I do remember that one.
And we go on to score the field goal. The Rams go down and score a field goal, and we lose in overtime. I bring that story up to bring this point up. If your team's down right now, if y'all are 1-2, 0-2, or 0-3, fellas and ladies, even if your team is 1-2 right now and they're going to lose this weekend and they go 1-3, the season is definitely not over. Understand, after this week 4, we're at the first quarter mark. A lot can still happen.
Right.
But on the flip side of the token, some teams are showing their prowess. Some teams are showing their makeup. And what we got coming up in week 4 is nothing but a super-sized litmus test on teams that might be able to take the next step and start flexing their muscles, if you will. So here to do a little quick week 3 recap and a week 4 preview. It's your boys from the House Divided. I'm Corey Hilliard. My man right there, that's Brandon Hill, a.k.a. B Hill, a.k.a. B, and we are the House Divided. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Come on in, take a seat on the couch. Let's get popping. If this is your first time, welcome. Mi casa, su casa. But if it's your first time, or if you've been here before, you know my boy B got to hit you with the house rules. B, you got him?
Man, you already know what time it is over here, Corey. We got him a hot show today, but if you guys would just do us a few things for us, go ahead and hop down there, hit that like button for us, guys. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, getting us out there to you guys. Another thing, if you don't mind, we'd love to hear from you guys. Hop down in the comment boxes. Talk everything you want. If you got something that you didn't like that we said, let us know about it. We'd love to hear your opinions. The best thing, though, is if you guys are already subscribed, that's great. If you're not, hit that subscribe button, guys, and then go ahead and turn that notification bell on, too, so you guys can be up to date for all our newest content. Because, guys, we ain't stopping when football season over, man. Basketball season about to be here. College basketball, I mean, we got a bunch of things coming up for you guys. So we're going to keep it rolling. But today, like Corey said, we got to recap our week 3. And then we going into our week 4. And we're going to give you all a little bit of power rankings, too, headed into that week 4. But to start off tonight, man, I mean, we have to talk about this game that happened last week, Corey. It was the Dolphins and the Bills, my man. I mean, dude, this was a grudge match. This was kind of one of those games right there. Whoever come out of this game, you're going to be from here on until you get proven otherwise. You're going to be the favorite team right now in the AFC because those were the 2 hottest teams. A lot of people weren't giving the Dolphins any love, though. Me and my guy Corey included. We didn't think that they was going to go in there and pull that upset off against the Bills. I mean, I had the Bills covering. I can't remember if Corey had them covering or not, but man,
I think I had the Bills actually beating the spread. I don't know if you have your notes in front of you, but I think I had the Bills beating the spread only because it was a divisional matchup. Now, right. I could be wrong. You'd have to.
No, I didn't write down I said I had the Bills to cover. I know that. I think you said Bills to cover as well because we just didn't think that the Dolphins were going to be able to pull it off.
Right. Yeah. So we'll go with that. I had the Bills covering then.
And I mean, Josh Allen, man, I'm sorry. What really lost them that game? If Josh Allen got to throw 63 passes, that's not a recipe for success. You have to have a balanced offensive attack in the NFL, or you can go home. It's just not going to work out. This ain't college. You're not going to throw your way to victories in the NFL. I mean, it happens from time to time, so please forgive me, people. But I mean, I'm just saying, realistically speaking, you have to have a balanced attack, and you have to be able to put pressure on the other team's quarterback. So
if you look at the story of Josh Allen's career so far in Buffalo, and this is why he garnered so much attention for an MVP, they're void of a running game. They just are.
They haven't.
He's been their leading rusher the past 2 years, if not the past 2 years, for sure last year. All right. They rely on so much of him. The dude threw for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns and led the team in rushing in that game. They held the ball for 40 minutes. 40 minutes in that game and lost by 2 points. I don't see many of those games where a team holds the ball for 40 minutes and they wind up losing. That's just a testament to the Dolphins for being resilient, number one. And it's exactly what you said. It was a beautiful, great point. You have to have a dual attack.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to at least show the threat that you can want to run the ball successfully a little bit.
Without your quarterback, without just your quarterback. I mean, your quarterback running is a whole different thing. You got to have running backs that can average at least 4 to 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Or what are we talking about? I mean, dude, look at did you see the numbers, man? Zach Moss, 4 carries for 46 yards. Not bad, right?
It's actually not, yeah.
Then why the heck did he just see the ball 4 times?
Bro, in the game.
I mean,
no, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Because looking at it, 21-19, it was a close game throughout. So why not try to establish a run game? It was clearly there. Now, Devin Singletary, that guy, I'm sorry, folks, but he's one of the most overhyped running backs that's ever been in the league. I mean, that guy, every week they keep saying this is going to be his breakout week. This is going to be a breakout week. Or this is going to be his breakout year. The dude had 9 carries for 13 yards. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he had 9 receptions for 78 and a touchdown. So he did do it in the receiving game. But, man, I got to see you carry the rock a little bit better than that, man. I mean, and then on the other side, they neutralized Tyreek Hill. But they didn't neutralize Jalen Waddle. And that's the thing about the Dolphins. They got that 1-2 punch.
It's a 2-prong attack. You're
going to stop one of them, but I doubt you're going to stop both of them on any given week. And if both of them go off, it's going to be a long night for the other team. I mean, that's just how it is. And Tua, 13 for 18, 186 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He didn't lose the game for him. He managed the game very well. You know what I mean? He didn't make any mistakes. I mean, other than that, they really didn't rush the ball well either, but that was dang near to be expected because the Bills have a pretty stout run defense. So, I mean, it was a grudge match. Like you said, it was a divisional opponents. I mean, the Dolphins got them on the upper hand at home. We might look later on down the road, and the Bills might get them at home. Who knows? We don't know that. But as of right now, you got to give the Dolphins the edge in the AFC East, man, because they've came out swinging. I promise, I didn't see this. A
lot of people didn't. And just to close the book on this one before we move to the next game, what you have to think about with the Dolphins is this is a team, I believe last year that started 0-7 and then won like 7 straight. I think they went 1-7 in like the next 8 games. So they're resilient in their own right. It was a divisional matchup. It was hot as hell. Okay.
It was.
You can tell, and you can tell for Josh Allen after the game. There was a cool moment when him and Tua were hugging, and Josh Allen was just spent. I mean, they played 90 plays, 90 plays. And to your point, Zach Moss having 4 carries to 46 yards. The game, I'd like to see those carries again because sometimes the game will lie to you. The numbers will tell you the truth. Some of those carries might have came in a position where it was 3rd down or something like that, or they just caught them off guard. But the biggest thing for me in that game was the fact that you have 2 divisional opponents, and the Dolphins, time and time again in the short 3 weeks of the season, found another way to win. They just found a way. They did it against New England. They had 2 big plays. That was the even game. They were down 21 to the Ravens in the 4th quarter, found a way to win. In this game, the offense only spent 20 minutes on the field out of 60 and found a way to win. So kudos to the Dolphins, man. You can't take nothing away from them. That's your objective as a football team in the NFL.
Right.
You find a way to win. That's all that matters.
Win and move on. Move on to the next one.
Yep.
But no, man, it was a heck of a game. I'm looking forward to seeing more from the Dolphins this year. But, man, the number 2 game that we had, it was the Packers and the Buccaneers. I mean, this was –
I took the Buccaneers.
I did as well because I absolutely despise the Green Bay Packers. But other than that, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to touch on this game. I mean, there was no running game. You had 2 arguably of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game. I mean, as much as you want to say about Aaron Rodgers, the dude is good. I mean, we just can't deny that. He's not Tom Brady good, but he's good. But Tom Brady, on the other end, 31 from 42, 271, a touchdown and no picks. But then Leonard Fournette was neutralized, But another thing I want to point out here, though, it hurt Tampa Bay not having Godwin. It hurt them not having Evans. I mean, they had a lot of injuries around that board, and I think it caught up to them against the Packers. That's not to say that the Packers are doing anything special over there, man, because it's just – I mean, they had no running game either, really, with their 2 backs. I mean, Aaron Rodgers played an okay game. He had 2 picks, he had 2 touchdowns and gave the ball away once. So, I mean, there's really – I don't know. It wasn't a high-scoring affair. The defenses both played well. You got 2 good defenses over there. I mean, the Packers, they got a phenomenal defense, and the Buccaneers, they have a great defense as well. So it was a clash of titans over there in the NFC, man, and the Packers came away with the win. I was hoping they wouldn't, but they did. So there's not much more I can really say about that.
I agree with everything you just said, and I brought up this point just on the Tampa Bay side of it, but it rings true for Green Bay. When we talked about this game in a preview show, I said Tampa Bay weren't going to have who? They weren't going to have Julio, Mike Evans, Godwin. Okay.
I left out Julio. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, so they really didn't have any receivers for Tom Brady. We already know Aaron Rodgers is disgusted with his receivers, right? He threw so many balls to Randall Cobb and Sammy Watkins. He's mad at his rookie receivers. Okay, so let's be honest, bro. We talk about QB play then being such an important position,
right?
But why did Tom Brady leave New England and go to Tampa? Because of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, right?
Right, absolutely.
Right, he kind of got pushed out the door. But if you're gonna get pushed out the door, you're gonna find the best situation for yourself. It's the same reason that New England went and got Wes Welker and Randy Moss my rookie year when I was drafted by the Patriots. Okay?
Ooh.
It's the same reason that Aaron Rodgers is disgusted with his receivers, okay, and complained about it for years that he's not getting help. A QB is only good as his receivers, and the score showed that. It was 14-12, and there were no marquee receivers in that game. Okay, and it was hard to move the ball.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
A receiver's only as good as his quarterback, too, most often.
You can have an awesome receiving core. You ain't got a quarterback to throw on the ball, then what are we doing? So I thought it was 2 teams, and then when you see my power rankings in a little bit, you'll see why I have them ranked so low, because obviously 2 great generational quarterbacks, but no receivers. Right?
No weapons. But one just doesn't have any receivers. The other one is going to get some of those guys.
Yeah, those guys are hurt. One was suspended.
And I respect Mike Evans for what he did, man. He had his quarterbacks back, and I feel like that's a guy I want him on my team. 100%.
For sure.
He's going to go to war with you, man. I mean, Mike Evans is one of those kind of guys, and he's a heck of a receiver too, but man, Russell Gage and them boys are just
no, they're not those guys. There's a reason those guys are backups.
Hey,
I mean, Tampa Bay went and signed, what's the little receiver? Cole Beasley. They signed Cole Beasley that week and played him in the game. It's rare, scarce.
Be careful on that, though, man. Cole Beasley has an opportunity to do something as he gets more integrated in that system. So he'll definitely be on the field when those other guys get back, too.
True that, but when you're signing a receiver midweek and playing them in the game, that's not a good sign.
Is Odell still out there on the free agent market right now?
Yeah, but he's not fully recovered. He won't be cleared
Is
to
that what
play
it is?
until like late November, early December. so.
Okay, I was wondering because I'm like, dang, all these teams need a receiver, and Odell still ain't been signed, so I
He's
wasn't
out there.
sure about that or not.
Yeah, he's out there. He was hugging Tom Brady before the Saints game on the sideline.
Don't let Tom get that, man. Don't let Tom get him, man.
Tom's working
Don't
it.
do
I'm
that.
telling you.
Tom, we can bring all them old ass receivers.
Tom
over
ain't
there. It ain't gonna do
stupid,
nothing.
bro.
No, he's never has been. Never has been. I mean, I don't knock. He's the GOAT, man. I mean, that's just what we have to say. But I mean, the Packers got the Bucks. I was hoping the Bucks could pull that off, because I am a Vikings fan and I don't want the Packers to have any kind of
Same here,
success.
Lions.
So
yeah,
it is what it is. This next game, however, though, this one kind of touches a little close to the heart for you, Corey. I picked it wrong. You actually picked it right because you said they were going to beat the spread. But at the end of the day, though, your team you picked lost.
We'll start doing money line and outright wins just to make you feel better. Because my ticket in Vegas would have been good either way.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. This ain't Vegas, so it's a house divided, my friend. So over here, the Vikings did beat the Lions 28-24, and man, I'll tell you what, bro. If this told me anything about my team, it told me this. The resiliency. Kind of like what we were just talking about with the Dolphins. When we're down, it was 24-14. I want to say there was like 8 minutes left. We went for it on 4th down, and we turned it over. Gave the ball right back to them. I thought right then and there, and most teams, heck, my Vikings from last season, they would have packed it up and been ready to go home, man. It would have been a wrap. But they didn't. They hung in there, man, and they grinded. And they didn't even have Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook got hurt with a shoulder injury. I want to say it was like the second or third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly when it was, but he got hurt again. That's a classic thing with Dalvin Cook. It happens every dang year. I'm not even surprised. But it's okay, though, because Alexander Mattison is a very capable running back. And he got the job done for us. I mean, he scored one of the touchdowns that got us within the 3 points. And then, Kirk Cousins, I said it, sealed that thing off with a nice little fade pass in the corner of the end zone to my boy KJ Osborne, the third wide receiver on our squad, by the way. So, and a lot of people are wondering, what's going on with Justin Jefferson right now? I'm not worried about Justin Jefferson. He'll adjust because teams have adjusted to him, basically. They're starting to double him more. But the problem is they're going to have to stop doing that so much because Adam Thielen is a very capable receiver. And he is going to make defenses pay if they do single coverage against him. So you go ahead, teams. You go ahead, keep double teaming Justin Jefferson. Keep it on. I love it because that's just going to open up KJ, and that's going to open up my boy Adam Thielen, and it's going to open up the running game too. I mean, the impact that Justin Jefferson has on a football game is crazy because that whole defense, their eyes were right on him. So, and they came away with the win, so I was really, really happy about that. We're first place in the division right now, too. It's still early, but I'll take it any way I can get it right now, and we're moving on to the next one. But I don't really have anything else. I mean, our defense did show up there towards the end. I was a little worried about our defense there at first, but then they hunkered down and shut it down in the fourth quarter when winning time came around. So I was very pleased to see that. I mean, other than that, man, the Detroit Lions, though, I got to give it to them, man. They're for real this year. I'm not saying Super Bowl or anything like that, but They are much, much improved from where they were. And I believe Dan Campbell's got them going in the right direction. He should have put that ball at the end, though, man. If he put that ball at the end as opposed to just kicking that field goal and missing it, that might have been a different outcome. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But I probably would have punted that ball if it was me.
Look, man, it's easy to make that to say that in hindsight. A little Monday morning quarterback, and I think the same thing. But shoot, if they make the field goal, the game's over. So it is what it is.
Yes and no. It is or it isn't.
I mean, it makes it harder for you guys. It makes it way harder.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you respecting the Lions and giving us a little love.
I got to.
I said that the Lions were going to be a tough out this year. And in typical fashion, they did Lion things at the end of the game to give it up. But this Lions team, I have no shame in the way they lost that game. You guys are a formidable opponent. You guys are number 4 in my preseason rankings. I know how dangerous y'all can be. And so there's no shame on my part for the Lions losing that game. If anything, I come away from the game saying, hey, we can compete. Because usually when a team gets blown out, and understand anything over 14 points in the NFL is a blowout. So you guys getting blown out by the Eagles, right? And then having your next game at home, right? You guys are psychologically in a way better position. So I was proud of the way my Lions played. I thought we played gritty. We played tough. We stood the toe to y'all, toe to toe. And it was just unfortunate. But like I said, going forward, I think there's things to build on for the Lions. I don't like more victories. I hate that. I wish we would have won the damn game. But man, they competed, bro. And if you're going to talk about getting in the playoffs, what's the first thing you want to do if you want to get in the playoffs? You want to win what?
You want to win close games. You want to win close games, win your division. Yeah, you got to win your division. Yeah,
so we're only a game behind y'all. Well, 2 games because y'all have a game over us. But it gives me confidence and hope that, hey, if that's the best team in our division and we played them on the road, all right, and we were up by 10 points in the fourth quarter and lose by 4, then that gives me hope and confidence that we can come back and figure this thing out.
Now, on the road, and arguably one of the toughest crowds to play. That's top 5. It's top 5. That's a
top 5 place to play, bro. Everybody doing that damn skull. I'm like, oh my god.
When they get that going, my man.
It's lit. I give it to you. It's
I got to experience that. I got to experience that.
It's lit. But we'll see y'all in Detroit. I think it'll be another close game. And I'm proud of the way my Lions performed. I wish we would have got the win, but we're not dead. That's why I told my story at the beginning about the Saints and being 1-3. We're nowhere close to being dead, man. But it was a great NFC North. They call that division the black and blue division because all the teams it's a pulverized and they beat up on each other. So kudos to you guys. Y'all got this one. Congratulations. I tipped my hat backwards. Y'all got us this time. We'll see y'all in Detroit. So good stuff.
Appreciate it. And one other thing I do want to point out on Detroit hadn't been blown out all season. Their first game against the Eagles, a very good opponent. You'll see on my power rankings, I'm very high on the Eagles right now. I mean, they played a very good game against them and they played us tough. So kudos to your Lions too, man. They're definitely turning the page, moving in the right direction for sure.
Thank you.
Man, with this 4th game, this was a tough one for me to pick against, but I did. It was the Rams and the Cardinals. I believe you picked the Cardinals. If I'm not mistaken.
I took the Cardinals because I didn't trust the Rams. I didn't trust Matt Stafford. So
that's fair, but they ended up pulling it out. Cam Akers pulled out a good game out of his yeehaw, man. That man needed that too because that man was in the dang doghouse with old Sean.
We're talking about being cut. Like,
man, you ain't lying though. And I mean, Cooper Kupp, they neutralized Cooper Kupp for the most part. I mean, when you only give up 4 receptions and 44 yards, so arguably one of the top receivers in the NFL, you're doing something right. So the Cardinals, they weren't slacking on defense. Kyler, man, golly, dude, they don't have much of a running game right now. I mean, where's James Conner been? I need him to stand up, please.
That man led the NFL in touchdowns. Is that what you're about to say? He led all running backs in touchdowns last year.
That's what I'm saying. And he's been nowhere to be found this year. I mean, he's had a little injury here and there, but man, but Marquise Brown, that connection's looking good. I'm liking that. I'm liking what I'm seeing there, but I just don't think the Cardinals got enough to get it done, man. When you see that they're going up against the Rams in that tough division, I mean, the Rams are probably the cream of the crop right now in the NFC West. That's another division right there. I mean, that's tough. That's going to be tough no matter who you play in that division, minus maybe the Seahawks. I'm not too high on the Seahawks this year. But Matt Stafford did just enough to win the game, and he did not turn the ball over. That's a big one for Matt. I mean, if Matt
what was my point? Why did I take the Cardinals, V? What did I say when I took the Cardinals?
Because Matthew Stafford's too turnover prone. I know, I agree. But I took the Rams in this game because I felt like they would handle business, and they did because of their defense. I mean, their defense stepped up and showed out. I mean, Marquise Brown dusted them for 140, but other than that, there's nothing really else on this stat sheet that you can drive home about for the Cardinals. And there was a fumble by Kyler Murray. They didn't lose any of them, but they hold on to the dang ball. I don't know, man. He just looks like most of the time things don't break down for him, and he's just running around out there most of the time. I mean, and a lot of times it's to his detriment. I mean, sometimes he pulls a rabbit out of the hat and he makes something special happen. But for a majority of this season so far, it's been a tough one for my boy Kyler. And all love for Kyler, but man, I just don't. It might be a long season over there in Arizona this year, man. And I don't think a DeAndre Hopkins coming back from suspension is going to help much. I just don't. I could be totally off the map with that one. Hop down in the comment boxes if y'all disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't know, man. Tell me what's your thoughts on this?
Man, it's not even so much about the game, but what happened before the season for the Cardinals. That clause that they put in his contract, right? Mm-hmm. Now there's reports starting to come out because the new Call of Duty Warzone's about to come out. All right. And stay with me. Stay with me here. Right? What did you just say in your little soliloquy about this game? That you see Kyler doing what? Running around.
He's just running around a lot, and it doesn't look like he knows like where his receivers are supposed to cut open.
Thank you. And what was the clause in his contract?
Film study. Not enough studying. Not enough studying. They said that he had to do a minimum. What was it, like 5-10 hours or something?
Something like that, bro. Bro, the fact that was the first time in NFL history that clause had ever been put into a contract. And by all accounts, it's coming out that Kyler Murray not only likes to play Call of Duty, but he's a certified beast at Call of Duty. Like, if he wasn't playing football, he'd be one of those nerds sitting at the freaking computer screen at the Call of Duty competition somewhere in LA or Las Vegas. Those teams, they play for like $250,000. The whole team does at these competitions for Call of Duty. They're saying that he's that level of a Call of Duty type player.
But here's
you're
my question.
The quarterback of an NFL team. You're the franchise quarterback, and you just got paid. You cannot be doing what you're doing, okay? No, and I know it's much bigger. They were playing Aaron Donald on that defense. The defense showed up. I get it. Matthew Stafford didn't turn the ball over, and the Rams were smart. They actually threw the ball to Tyler Higbee, and they got other guys involved. But I'm just saying, bro, that whole contract clause casts a shadow over this Cardinals team. And every time Kyler Murray has a bad performance, you're going to wonder and think, is he doing enough study-wise? Okay?
They are.
And for some reason, I trusted them, and I don't know why, because I knew this. I knew it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So a team has to put a clause in your contract that asks you to study, not ask, demand that you study. And if you don't put the study time in, they were going to take guaranteed money away from him. I'm just saying, I'm done with it. I don't trust Kyler Murray. I no longer trust the Cardinals. Honest to God, had it not been for the last 6 minutes of that Raiders game, right, they should be 0-3.
They'd be 0-3. They'd be 0-3, right? That's crazy. You took the words right out of my mouth, man. I mean, you got blown out by the Chiefs in week 1. Now, granted, the Chiefs are a cream of the crop team in the NFL, but you got beat 44-21. I mean, come on, man. You're not even.
They can be beat. The coach just beat the Chiefs. The coach just beat the Chiefs. So that's no excuse. I'm not taking that excuse.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you there. It's just,
I get what you're saying, but no, bro.
But the Cardinals are the ones that's got the egg on their face because they gave the man the money.
Yes.
You put the clause in there all you want. You gave the man the money.
I'm sorry. If I got to put a clause in for my franchise quarterback to study, I'm not giving you that contract, bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Why was it even a discussion then? Like, move on to the next one then if you feel like he ain't studying enough. The last game that I want to touch on, man, this was one that kind of shocked me, to be honest with you. The Jaguars and the Chargers. You picked this one right, my friend. You did. I will give you kudos for that. You got this one right on the money, man. I just wasn't a believer in the Jaguars. I mean, they're starting to make a believer out of me over here, though. Trevor Lawrence is looking like the number one pick. Fantasy Nugget guys, if he's over there still off of waivers right now, go scoop that man up because he's going to ball for you this year. I mean, 28 for 39, 262. 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. My gosh, Justin Herbert looked hurt, man. He just looked hurt the whole game. But like you had pointed out to me when we talked on the phone, you said if you're in the game, you're in the game. Injuries don't matter when you're playing. 25 for 45, 297, a touchdown and a pick. Eesh. I mean, it just, and then, but here's the thing, though. The Jaguars aren't just doing it passing the ball. Man, that man, James Robinson.
Yes.
17 for 100 yards, a touchdown. I mean, Christian Kirk. People were talking all that trash because he got all that money in the offseason. I'm telling you what, folks. Christian Kirk looking good. And Zay Jones, he looking good, too. I mean, they got a fun-looking little squad over there in Jacksonville. And maybe that missing piece was Doug Peterson. I mean, he is a Super Bowl winning coach, and he did win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. And I'm not over here to trash on Nick Foles, but he ain't Trevor Lawrence. Let's just put it how it is. He doesn't have all the accolades and everything Trevor Lawrence did. But, I mean, I got to give it to him, man, because I've been high on the Chargers all year. You know what I'm saying? I had them up there, everything else, and, man, they let me down, man. That defense got shredded. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, and it was kind of disappointing, but it be what it be sometimes. Those happen in the NFL. But what's your take on this? Because I know you got a lot to rub in on this one. So
I don't have a lot to rub in other than I was right. My prognostication of what the Jaguars are going to be, just watching them play the Commanders that week one, I said they got something here. If you watch the Commanders after that game, they lost to my Lions, and then they lost at home to the Eagles. Now, that's two formidable opponents.
Right.
All right. The Jaguars should have and could have won that first week game against the Commanders. And what I saw was a quarterback who was starting to figure it out. He didn't even play that good week one against the Commanders. He didn't. If you go back and look at his stats, they weren't good stats. And they should have won the game. And I said if he figures it out, they got something cooking. The next week they come back and they beat the Colts 24-0. And oh, by the way, who did the Colts just beat? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Okay. They come back the next week and beat the Los Angeles Chargers, who I had just put at number 4. All right. And we can talk about the injuries. I bring up injuries every week when we talk about this because that is a factor. But, bro, your team is only good as your weakest link. Okay?
Facts.
So if you got guys out, you damn better sure have some guys coming off that bench that can fill in. Okay? Take it from somebody who was a career backup and had 14 NFL career starts in 8 years.
Right.
You better have guys on the bench when guys get hurt that can come in and play the game. And you know the beautiful thing about this, because people keep saying it was a hurt team, the score at halftime was 10-7. It was 10-7 at halftime. So for one half, this hurt Los Angeles Chargers team looked like they were clearly capable of playing football. And then they came out in the second half and got dusted.
And that's where it comes into Doug Peterson being that kind of a coach. He made those halftime adjustments, and he brought his team out there to show up and show out. I mean, you got to give it to him. You got to. I mean, you can't disrespect it. The Jaguars were the laughing stock for the last 10 years? I mean, 5, 6, 7, something like that. They had that one year where they had Jalen Ramsey and all them.
Ever since all those guys left, it's been downhill.
They ain't did nothing. But, man, they might have found something with old Trevor Lawrence at the number 1 pick. And I was one that always said it. Trevor Lawrence ain't going to do nothing because nobody does nothing with the Jaguars, man. But, hey, they might have the perfect storm with Doug Peterson, man. I'm telling you, I'm a believer in Doug Peterson. What he did that year in those playoff runs without his starting quarterback, you got to give it to that guy.
That dude's got a statue in Philadelphia. He's got a
He does.
statue. Him, Nick Foles,
seen
and
it.
Rocky
I seen it.
Balboa.
I seen it.
You
I
saw
seen
it?
the statue close
Come
up.
on,
Yes, I
man.
did. I seen it. So no, it was. You got to give it to them though. The Jaguars are there. They're a threat. They're a force to be reckoned with. And coming up here in a little bit, we about to touch on these Week 4 intriguing games. They got a test, my friend.
Oh yeah.
The Eagles.
Ooh,
I mean, shoot, why not? Let's just jump right into that, Corey. Since we're on this topic,
Are we done with Week 3?
I mean, yeah, that's it on Week 3.
That's it.
Those
Let's
are
jump
5
into it.
games.
Let's go.
So we got the Jaguars and we got the Eagles, man. I mean, it's
Ooh.
at Philly. Keyword, at Philly. That place, I'm going to say this the rest of the year. Anybody that has to travel to Philly, I'm sorry for you guys. That was a tough place to play. You want to talk about a home field advantage. I don't think there's one better in the NFL. Those fans are passionate. Those fans are loud. And they got a damn good team to back it up, too.
They love
Those
the
Eagles, as we were just talking about giving Trevor Lawrence his flowers, man, that man Jalen Hurts deserves his flowers, too.
Mhm.
Every bit of it. And they have weapons over there. They got A.J. Brown. They got Devontae Smith. They got that other guy. Who's that other guy that they got?
Dallas Goddard. I
Golly,
love
number
the tight
6.
end.
They got Dallas Goddard. They got number
Devontae
16.
Smith's number 6.
He's number 16, the receiver. Quasi
Oh,
or something like
God,
that.
I can't remember his name, but he's
Golly, hang on. I'm about to get this. You just hold your second. Give me just 1 second here. Let me look at this roster real quick because it's gonna bother me if I don't look. Hang on.
No, you got take your time. I can edit it out.
Where is he? Quez Watkins. That guy.
Okay.
Quez
Okay.
Watkins.
Quez Watkins.
So-
That's him.
Yes. I mean, I like it. That's a 3-headed, you know what I'm saying, receiving core. And then you got Miles Sanders in the backfield along with Jalen Hurts, who you always have to be aware of running the ball. So the Jaguars got their work cut out for them this week. They win this week, Corey. Your boy's going to believe. I will believe. But the Eagles are favored by 6.5 at home, man.
Yeah.
And I got the Eagles covering this one by 7. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think they're going to cover this one, my friend. I got the Eagles winning. What's your takes?
I think with how young Jacksonville is, and I talked about this last week before we even talked about them playing the Chargers. They're such a young team that sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to know. Okay.
Right.
Right. I would hope that Doug Peterson turns on the film this week and sees Jalen Hurts doing Jalen Hurts things and being like, walking into the defensive coordinator's office and be like, bro, I don't care whatever you do. Stop that. Make him beat us with his arm, not his legs, because that's his X factor. He's getting damn good with his arm, but those legs of his are the primary weapon. He's turning it on with his arm. He is. But the legs, bro, when he scrambles and when he gets a head of steam going downhill, bro, it's a problem.
He's like a running back. It's like a running back. He's like a running back running down the field.
That's
I mean,
what
that
I'm
dude.
The dude
got
squats
tree
like
trunks.
700 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I remember that video whenever he was at Oklahoma. He's a monster, dude.
So I would say this, and this is a tough spot for the Jags because they have so much momentum going. The fact that they beat the Colts the way that they did, and the Colts came back and beat the Chiefs. The fact that they just completely demolished the Chargers. I'm going to say they beat the spread, but they don't win. So you can take it for what it's worth. If we're doing money line, we both got the Eagles. If we're doing spread, I got Jaguars losing by 3 points.
Okay. So you're picking the Jags to cover.
I'm picking the Jags to cover. It's at 12 p.m. It's not a night game. The Eagles fans won't be as liquored up. I know they will be, but it won't be crazy. And I trust in Trevor Lawrence and I trust in Doug Peterson to make this a close game.
And Doug Peterson, if there's anybody that could go into Philadelphia and pull off a win, it'd be that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sleeping on the Jaguars by any means. I got a little more belief in the Eagles. I've seen it firsthand what they're capable of, man.
Yeah. They're bro. The Jags look 17 for 11 for Trevor Lawrence, 772 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Okay?
Right.
That's a quarterback who is playing very efficient. He's taking what the defense gives him, and he's not turning the ball over. If he keeps that up in this game, it's going to be close.
This is going to be his toughest matchup yet, though. This will be his toughest matchup.
Bro, the Eagles had 9 sacks against the Commanders. 9.
And they don't even have their best edge rusher in Derek Barnett. He's out for the year.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah.
That's scary. So, shout out to my boy that I went to Philly with. He's going to love this show. My boy Jorge, he's going to love this one. He's a big Eagles fan. So, I got to give the Eagles some love on that one, man. They're going to win it. This next game that I got, though, man, this is coming all the way from London at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to be my Minnesota Vikings versus your hometown team, the New Orleans Saints.
Mm-hmm.
The line on this one is -2.5 for Minnesota. So the Vikes are favored in this game. It's up in the air if Dalvin Cook goes or not, but I'm not really worried about that either way. Madison is a very capable backup running back, and he will make defenses respect him. That's a fact. You guys got some injuries of your own over there. You got your Pete, your offensive lineman. He's questionable right now. Yeah. You got another receiver, Michael Thomas. He's got a little ankle right now. He's questionable. And you got Jarvis Landry that's got an ankle injury. It's questionable. So with all of those things combined, along with, I don't think that your defense is going to be able to slow down what we got coming at y'all. I really don't. I mean, y'all's defense is nice, but is it shutting down? Marshawn Lattimore better not be barking at old Justin Jefferson. That's all I'm going to say. Because if that's the case, JJ will go off. But, man, I got the Vikings winning this one. It's going to be close. It's 2.5, so I got them winning by 3. They're going to cover this spread on the 2.5. But I got the Vikings pulling this win off. Kirk Cousins away from home. I know that was a point you was about to bring up, so I'm just going to hit you right between the eyes with it.
I wasn't even.
Kirk. Okay, well, that's fine. I did. So Kirk Cousins is going to show up, and he's going to show out. This ain't Monday night. This ain't underneath the lights or nothing. It's 8:30 in the freaking morning our time. They're in London. Let's strap it up. Let's get to 3-1, and let's come home. That's all I got to say about this game. But the Vikings are going to win it. Skol.
You're severely wrong. I got the Saints winning by at least 4 to 5 points. Okay. And just to be honest, bro, this is a primetime game. It'll be the only game on at this time. It's in London.
I guess.
All right. There's going to be a lot of eyes on Kirk Cousins. And just to be honest, like, if we're just putting it out there, the last 2 weeks, what do the Saints really have to be scared of? Jeff Okudah put the clamps down on Justin Jefferson. Darius Slay put the clamps down on Justin Jefferson. I'm looking at Kirk Cousins' stats right here. 74 for 119.
Hey, whoa.
750. Whoa. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
74 for 119, 758 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jameis Winston, 73 for 115, 858 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's about as even as you can get, give or take a touchdown and an interception in the direction for Kirk Cousins. But there's no Dalvin Cook. We just got Kamara back. Chris Olave has 17 receptions for 268. Justin Jefferson has 18 for 246. But he has the 2 tutties from week 1, not these past 2 weeks. Is Sedarius Smith going to play? Do we know that?
Yeah, he's playing.
He's going to play?
Playing. He'll play.
I'm just saying, man.
He'll play.
You get Kirk Cousins outside of the confines of Minnesota, and then you put him in a primetime spot, okay, where he's the only eyes, or all the eyes, will be on him. I just don't like him. So I'm taking my Saints by at least 4 or 5 points. Now, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
I was going to say that those corners did a heck of a job but they had safety help too. It wasn't just those corners shutting it down. That was a team effort. So I gotta say, I just gotta point that out. Give my boy JJ some love. He's gonna break out this week. Kevin O'Connell is gonna draw up the plays. He's gonna get it ready, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a battle. Don't get me wrong. It's always a battle when we meet up. I mean, it always is. It always comes down to a final play. I mean, Minnesota Miracle, the last time we played in the playoffs, there's always that one play. Who's going to make the play? And I'm sorry, I don't have more faith in Jameis Winston than I do Kirk Cousins. I just don't. And most people, if you do a quarterback ranking in the NFL, they're going to have Kirk Cousins ranked above Jameis Winston. It's just facts. So you go ahead. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins. You go ahead. You roll with Jameis Winston. We'll mark this one down to talk about next week in our recap. See who won this game. Other than that, that's all I got to say about this. But good luck to y'all in London, because we're going to be there with our cup of tea.
And no good luck to y'all. No good luck to y'all. We're coming there to beat y'all now. Enjoy the tea. Enjoy the crumpets all week.
Absolutely.
And then when y'all show up, it's going to be a butt kicking.
We'll see. I beg to differ.
All right.
This next game, though, that we got on the docket for y'all tonight is the Bills at the Ravens. Man, you got Buffalo -3 on this one at the Ravens. You got Josh Allen. You got Lamar Jackson. You got Diggs. You got Mark Andrews. I mean, there is not a lack of talent in this game by any means. I like the Ravens in this one, Corey. I do. I really do. I do. I got the Ravens beating that spread, and I got the Ravens outright winning this game at home. This is a statement game. They're both 2-1. The Bills are going to be a little butthurt coming off of that Dolphins loss. You know what I'm saying? A division loss. I like the Ravens at home. Now, if this was at Buffalo, I'd pick the Bills. So this is a home matchup for me. But I got the Ravens pulling this one out. I think that Mark Andrews makes enough plays from Lamar Jackson. I think the threat of Lamar Jackson running is something the Bills haven't had to mess with this year yet. And I just think that he's that X factor, man. And I got the Ravens. So I'm going to go all the way out there. I could be wrong on this one. Could be eating some crow next week, but that's all right. I'm pulling for the Ravens in this one, my man. Who you got?
You surprised me yet again.
I did. I know.
I for sure thought you were going to say the Bills. I got the Ravens, dog.
Okay. I like
my
that
league
one.
MVP right now is Lamar Jackson.
He's balling. He's
my
absolutely
league MVP
balling.
right now is Lamar Jackson, and they better pay that man.
And can
Josh
we
Allen
say
is a close second. No, go ahead. What did you got to say?
Can we say this? Mark Andrews is the best tight end in the league right now.
Yeah.
Has he passed Kelsey in your eyes too?
I think if you're talking about right now, this moment. Yeah.
Right now. No rings and everything else mattering, just on the field, talent-wise, everything.
Yeah, he's a better tight end in the red zone. He has more red zone targets than any other tight end. He catches the ball better in the red zone. Kelsey had a crucial drop against the Colts last week that kind of sealed their fate. But I think
that's not to say. I'm not saying Kelsey's pooped by saying that by any means. He's definitely. I mean, they're 1A, 1B. Yeah, they both are. I mean, we can both say that. I'll say that.
Yeah, but I'm saying Kelsey has a longer resume. That dude's been to 8 straight Pro Bowls, and he's been all pro, 7 out of 8.
And he's been the best tight end. So sooner or later, you got to give the man a up, man. And I like my Mark Andrews, another Sooner in the league, just showing out.
Mark Andrews is leading the Ravens in receiving with 22 receptions, 245 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Well, that's why I picked him up on my fantasy team, because they didn't have Marquise Brown anymore. I mean, that took a weapon away from him. So that just made Mark Andrews even more of a weapon.
Yeah, right now he's the best tight end in football. And if you want a comp on the other side, Stephon Diggs, 27 receptions to Mark Andrews, 22. 344 yards to Mark Andrews, 245. 4 touchdowns for Diggs, 3 for Andrews. So by all means, Mark Andrews is putting up receiver-type numbers playing tight end, and he's still blocked.
Another matchup here that's going to be hot. Number 4, we got the Chiefs at the Bucks. The Chiefs in this one are favored by 1 point. You got the GOAT versus AKA the baby GOAT, Most people call this guy the GOAT right now. I'm not going that far yet until he wins a few more chips. Not even close. This is going to be a tough one. Mike Evans will be back. I don't know if Godwin's even close to being back right now or not. I think he's got a hammy he's dealing with, so those hamstrings can linger for some weeks. Either way, though, man, I just don't think that the Bucs are going to have enough to pull off a win against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, after coming off of a loss, I think they're going to be hungry. They're going to come in here mad, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to drop like 400 yards on this defense. Because if folks remember, whenever they played in the regular season, Tyreek Hill was hitting them deuces on them. Now, granted, they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but they did. They busted the Bucs in the regular season, and the Bucs turned around and won when it mattered. But I got the Chiefs. It's going to be a close one. It's only a point, so I'm going to get them winning by a field goal. But I got the Chiefs in this one, my friend. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of talking points other than you got Tom Brady and you got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's the highlight of this game. Whose defense is going to be able to stop who? The Bucs do boast probably a little bit better defense than the Chiefs right now. But, man, I got the Chiefs. I have a little bit more faith in Patrick Mahomes and his weapons around him than I do Tom Brady and what he has around him at this moment. What's your take on this one, Corey?
It's a 7:30 kickoff, Sunday Night Football.
It is.
In Arrowhead. And I don't think coming off a loss.
No, this one's at the Bucs.
Is it really?
It's at the Bucs, yes.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, this one is at the Bucs.
And who's the favorite?
You got the Chiefs by 1, man.
I'm taking the Bucs, bro.
You're taking the Bucs.
Bro, Tom Brady coming off a loss at home, prime time against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He will not work any harder in his whole life, maybe for the Super Bowl weeks and playoff games, than he will this week. I'm telling you. Bro, if you know anything about Tom Brady, he is utterly hurt and pissed that he lost to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. Okay? Wasn't happy at all.
He is not going to turn around the next week and then have to hear that he lost to Patrick Mahomes on top of it. I don't think he's having it. I think you're going to see a locked-in Tom Brady. If I know anything about Tom Brady, he is yelling at those receivers every day in practice. Those receivers are going to have the worst week of practice of their lives. He's going to be Psycho Tom, is what they like to call him in these spots. The games at home. He does not like losing. He is very Michael Jordan-ish when it comes to losing. Okay? This man is 45 years old. He hates it. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers even beat him last week is going to eat him up.
Well, it can eat him up all the way to an L against Patrick Mahomes.
It can. It totally can. It totally can.
I mean, this one, though, Corey, arguably, and I was high on the Bucs. I kind of still am. But the Chiefs are just that much better to me. That much. It's close. This is close. That's why it's a -1. Honestly, they could have called this one an even and just called it a pick 'em, to be honest with you.
They could.
But I mean, man, I don't know. This might be Tom Brady's worst team he's had yet with Tampa Bay. So time will tell. We don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be an interesting matchup. Definitely one I'm gonna tune into. So we'll have to see how it works out and how it all plays out. But you got the Bucs. I got the Chiefs. I like it. House divided. We've only been the same on one game today, so I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah.
The last game that we're going to talk about, this was one that we were really getting heated on the phone, guys, before we got on this, because me and Corey always talk on the phone before we get on our show to make sure that we bring the best information to you guys possible. Man, we got the Dolphins at the Bengals, my friend. At the Bengals. We got the Dolphins are not favored in this one. It is -3.5 on the Bengals side. The Bengals are coming in 1-2. They've had some close ones, like you had alluded to. The Steelers game, it was some faulty calls, everything else. You had the Cowboys that just basically with Cooper Rush, they lucked into that one. I mean, and then they just beat the Jets 27-12. I mean, everybody beats the Jets nowadays, is what it seems like. So going into this game against the Dolphins, man, I mean, it's a tale of two stories. We're going to touch on this. You were too about the Alabama LSU, 2018-2019 season whenever LSU won the national title. They went in there to Alabama, and it was a battle, you know what I'm saying, against two Clash of the Titans that year. And Joe Burrow came out on top. So is Tua a little salty about this one? Is he going to be able to kind of get him back, a little get back, you could say? I mean, he's definitely got some weapons on his side. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Jalen Waddle. You got Edmonds, who's in that backfield that's always a threat to either run the ball or catch it out the backfield. I like what Edmonds has been doing for the Dolphins so far this season. But on that other side, you got Joe Mixon toting that rock, one of the top 5, top 10 running back easily in the NFL right now. You got Jamar Chase. That dude is an absolute stud. And you got Joe Burrow, like I already alluded to. So this was a tough one, man. I mean, it's -3.5. This one can be a close one. Give me the Dolphins in this one. They're going to go to 4-0. They're going to start proving all these doubters. Everybody keeps doubting them. They keep picking them against them in the spread. Vegas obviously doesn't want the Dolphins to win. So give me the Dolphins in a close one. I got them in a close one. I don't think they'll cover. I really don't. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. Or no, they're not favored. I'm dumb. Don't listen to me. I got the Dolphins beating.
You're taking them outright. Yeah,
I am. I'm taking the Dolphins outright all day, every day. Give me the Dolphins and give me Tua. Tua's been absolutely balling this season. 72 for 101, 925 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Joe Burrow on the other side, behind that much improved offensive line is what we heard about all offseason. The guy's been taking hits. He's been taking licks. He's 80 for 125, 812 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Joe Mixon, can he find the end zone this week? That's something that nobody's talking about. Joe Mixon hadn't found the end zone off the ground this year. He's got 58 carries, 163 yards, and no touchdowns. So that's the one thing that kind of scares me about my pick here. Because that man, Joe Mixon, this could be his coming out party, and he could absolutely go off this weekend. But I don't know. You tell me, Corey, what's your thoughts on this game?
Shoot, man, I think you're absolutely wrong. I think I see what Vegas sees. I see what a lot of other people sees that you're saying that don't want to give the Dolphins credit. They've been very fortunate. They've been a very fortunate team. And I can't stress this point enough. Joe Burrow, okay, even though a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of teams didn't play their starters in preseason, Joe Burrow didn't practice in preseason, okay? He's knocking off the rust. The appendix shut his preseason down. This is his preseason. I want everybody to understand that's watching. This is his preseason, okay? It's a Thursday night game, all right? It's in Cincinnati. And I think the Dolphins, their luck's going to run out at some point, all right? If you're telling me that the Kansas City Chiefs can lose to the Colts, okay? You're telling me that the Los Angeles Chargers can get their doors blown off by the Jaguars. These are some of the top teams. I'm just saying, if the Dolphins can beat the Bills, then there's no reason why the Bengals can't turn around and do the same thing to the Dolphins. And this runs deeper than just this matchup. Tua's going to have a little extra incentive. I'm glad you brought that up because they were in the same draft class. Tua's year was supposed to be the year that LSU won the championship. And Joe Burrow spoiled that party. And we talked about it.
He did.
The weapons that Tua was working with. Henry Ruggs, okay? Jalen Waddle, who's his teammate now. Jerry Jeudy. Devonta Smith, who wound up winning the Heisman the next year. Okay,
Right.
4
Right.
first-round receivers, as opposed to LSU's Justin Jefferson, okay, and Jamar Chase. Now you brought up a good point, and we were arguing. All right, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as a collective against 4 first-round receivers. If you rank those receivers 1 through 6, Chase
Justin
and Jefferson will be
and
at the
Jamar,
top.
number 1 and 2, absolutely.
Fair enough. But Jerry Jeudy,
Absolutely.
we saw with Waddle. I'd have Waddle number 3.
Wow,
I'd have Jerry Jeudy number 4. All right. Before Henry Ruggs went through his unfortunate situation last year.
I
And
disagree.
Devontae Smith.
I disagree.
I would have Devontae Smith number 4. I'd have Devontae
I was about
number
to say.
4.
I mean, that's your rankings. You keep it how you want.
No. I completely forgot about the only receiver out of those 6 that won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And he's the 4th best one on the list, right? So, look, I bring all of that up to bring up this. This is going to be an emotional game for both quarterbacks. I think with Tua being in the position that he's in, leading the league in passing yards or something ridiculous like that, I think he's going to come back down to earth. You would think that the game being on the road, it's a short week. They didn't have that much time to prepare, that the Bengals can throw some stuff at the Dolphins. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to win by 7 points. I don't think it's going to even be a 3-point game, a 4-point game, a 5-point game. I think they beat them by 7. And I think the Bengals kind of remind people who they were last year. They start to kind of get their sea legs under them, right? Because their quarterback is starting to get his sea legs under them. All right.
That dude, I mean, Joe Burrow is nobody's you know what. So, I mean, Joe Burrow is a bad dude. Don't get me wrong. He's bad. I don't know, man. I kind of like what the Dolphins got cooking down there in South Beach, man. I think it's something special this year. So, we'll see. Those 2 receivers are going to be tough for anybody to match up with. But, as you alluded to, the Bengals got some weapons of their own. It's going to be a good matchup tomorrow night. So, get your popcorn ready, guys. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Because that's going to be a good one tomorrow night. So, man, we're going to close this thing out with some power rankings tonight, Corey.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to let you go ahead because I did the power rankings first last week. I'm going to let you go ahead and give me your top 10 this week. What you got?
No. You started off.
You want me to start it? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Man, I got it. Number 1, I got a new team this week. They beat the previous number 1 team last week, so I got to give them some love, man. I got the Miami Dolphins as my number 1 team in my power rankings this week. So, not a big surprise there. My number 2 team, real close. This was hard. This was a toss-up for me. I feel like you could interchange these teams, and you're perfectly fine. The Philadelphia Eagles at 2. I mean, what they've been doing with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith's been coming on, A.J. Brown. I mean, they're loaded. So I got the Eagles at 2. The Bills dropped down to 3. They only slid 2 spots, so it wasn't much. Then I got the Chiefs at 4. I still believe in Kansas City, even though they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. I think that was more of a bad matchup for the Chiefs, you could say. Those Indianapolis Colts are a team that can kind of keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands with Jonathan Taylor and everything else. So they kind of slowed the game down. Might be a blueprint to beat the Chiefs, a.k.a. let y'all know, future reference. Number 5 team, I got the Baltimore Ravens, man. Like you alluded to earlier, Lamar Jackson, he's up there at the top of the list of some people's MVP picks right now early in the season. Dude's been absolutely balling. They're not short of weapons over there. Number 6, I got my Minnesota Vikings. I liked what they did last week with that win against Detroit. Now, granted, it's the Lions, but the Lions are much improved like we had talked about. So I like that they came back. To me, the good teams in the NFL are going to find a way to win games. We're 2-1. We're first place in the division. So I got them at 6. Number 7, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They took a little bit of a drop to me. Injuries included, of course. Number 8, I'm going to have the Los Angeles Rams. They came back up into my top 10. I kind of dropped them, or I think they were at number 10 for me last week, but I kind of brought them back up after their win against the Cardinals. Number 9, this one kills me to even put them in here, but I got to. It's the Packers. So you got to give them some kind of love. I mean, they're 2-1. Aaron Rodgers is squeaking out some wins by the edge of his butt, so it is what it is. At number 10, I got the Denver Broncos. I liked what the Denver Broncos. Yeah, I did. I got the Broncos at number 10 over here. Number 11, I got to give them a little bit of love. They win this week, they're going to get a lot of love from me. But I got the Jacksonville Jaguars as my number 11 team on the outside looking in. They could creep into that top 10 if they get a W. If they don't, they're going to stay out of my top 10. So that's what I got right now. What do you got, Corey?
Ooh, all right. Number 1, I can't deny this anymore, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, even though I'm not as high as some people are, I got to respect winning. And I got to go with the Miami Dolphins at number 2. Number 3, right under them, because they just lost to the Dolphins, would be the Buffalo Bills. Number 4, this team is headed by my MVP front runner right now in the short season. It'd be the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Number 5, I had the Bucks in this similar position last week. I can't remember exactly, but I'm gonna stay with the Bucks here just because of all the injuries and kind of what they're facing right now. Number 6, Kansas City Chiefs. They took a big dip for me, about 4 spots. Number 7, your Minnesota Vikings. Number 8, the Los Angeles Rams climbed back up into mine as well. Number 9, this team is a minute and a half away from being undefeated and getting a lot more talk. The Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
They're 2-1. They should have beat the Jets. They were up 13 with 2 minutes left and somehow managed to lose the game. You would think that would keep them out of my rankings, but those things, unfortunate things happen sometimes. So I put them back in my top 10. And number 10, I got the 2-1 Jags. I think you beat the Colts by 24. You beat the Chargers by 38-10. 28.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord, you got to be in my top 10. And then right outside of it, I have the Chargers still at 1 and 2. I still think that's a good football team, but they're teetering. And I got also sitting outside my top 10. I got the I'm gonna leave them off. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the Colts. They're 1-1-1. It's about as even as you can get as a record after 3 weeks. But I think them beating the Chiefs, I think that gives them life. So they can still be formative. If you can beat the Chiefs, you can beat anybody. Dang it!
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I'd have them hovering with the Chargers right outside that top 10.
The NFL this year, man, has been nothing short of impressive.
It's been good TV, bro.
Nobody's really just like separating themselves away from the pack right now. I mean, yeah, you got the Dolphins and the Eagles at 3-0, but I mean, you got so many 2-1 teams to where it's like this thing could flip upside on its head at any given point. You never know who's going to beat who. Yeah. I feel like there's nobody in the NFL. Golly, man. I mean, even the Bears are 2-1 right now. I mean, come on.
I know. And they're not
you see what I'm saying? About. So it's like,
the Giants are 2-1 right now. The Cowboys are 2-1 right now. Like, think about it. There's a lot of 2-1 teams that's floating around there that nobody's really talking about.
The Cowboys, are they gonna keep Cooper Rush as their starter?
Bro, that rhetoric, that narrative keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I can't wait till Dak comes back and they take a L and put Cooper Rush back in this game.
There's one room in our house, in this house divided, that we can both chill in, and that's the Cowboy hater, the Dallas Cowboy hater room. We both chill in that thing, boy.
Don't forget, guys. They never let us down. They never do. They never do. They never fail to disappoint. Come about December, late November, the Cowboys will really show you who they really are.
They'll take that mask off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But other than that, man, this was a great show this week. Mm-hmm. I'm so hyped for this week 4, man. We got some good matchups here, and I can't wait to get back on here next week and talk about these, man, because these picks we had today and everything, it's going to be a good show next week for the folks.
I think it is.
Other than that, man, I ain't got nothing else unless you got anything else you can touch on.
No, that was it, man. We covered a
I
lot.
pretty much cover everything. Well, guys, for those of you that stuck around, remember always hit that like button, hop down in them comment boxes, subscribe if you aren't already, and go ahead and hit that notification bell so you guys can be all up to date. I think next week, Corey, are we going to throw us a little NBA preview in?
We
next
will
week?
definitely be, because the NBA Media Day started yesterday, which
They
means
did.
today was the first day of practice for all NBA teams. Which
It
means
was?
it's right around the corner, brother. So yeah, we'll start talking
Let's go.
NBA next week.
Let's
It's gonna
go.
be fun.
I can't wait. That's just whenever the show is going to get better, because that's when we're going to have NBA, college, and NFL. You guys are going to see a lot of me and Corey, let me tell you. So, without further ado, guys, this has been great. We signed in with y'all. This is going to be the House Divided signing on out. So, peace, brother.
Peace.
And we'll see you next show, my man.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Peace.